The world is on silent fire, not the kind you see in the streets, but the one burning inside your mind. Every buzz, every scroll, every endless feed, stealing seconds you'll never get back. You wake up tired, not from work, but from noise. Noise that never stops whispering, you're falling behind. Let's be honest, motivation doesn't last. You get inspired for a few hours, maybe a few days, then life hits. The notifications, the noise, the chaos. We live in the most distracted generation in human history. Our attention span has become shorter than a goldfish's. We crave motivation, but can't hold on to it long enough to change our lives. But what if I told you, motivation isn't meant to last, it's meant to start something. And the real hack is learning how to sustain it. Here's the truth no one tells you. Motivation is like caffeine. It gives you a burst, but the crash is coming. Real success doesn't come from constant hype. It comes from building systems that work even when you don't feel like it. Because motivation gets you started, but habits keep you going. We chase motivation like it's magic dust, watching one more video, reading one more quote, hoping the spark lasts just long enough to change our lives. But the truth, motivation fades every single time. What you need isn't another burst of hype, it's a system, a mindset, a way to keep moving when the fire goes out. The hack to sustainable motivation isn't about feeling inspired, it's about mastering the moments when you don't. Here's the most underrated hack to sustainable motivation: your environment. If you're surrounded by noise, negativity, and endless temptation, even the strongest willpower will eventually break. Steve Jobs understood this. That's why he lived with simplicity. He said, "Focus means saying no." He removed clutter, distractions, and unnecessary decisions. Because when your space is clean, your mind is clear, and when your mind is clear, motivation flows naturally. Every time you scroll, you're giving away your brain's reward system. Your mind gets flooded with dopamine from likes, reels, and short hits of pleasure. But motivation dies in a brain that's overstimulated. You're not unmotivated, you're overloaded. The hack? Take back your dopamine. Earn it through action, not distraction. Go for a walk, read a page, complete one small task. Each time you earn your dopamine through effort, your motivation strengthens, because your brain starts to associate work with reward. Here's the ultimate hack to sustainable motivation. Don't chase feelings. Build identity. Stop saying, "I want to get motivated to work out." Start saying, "I'm the kind of person who doesn't miss workouts." Stop saying, "I hope I can focus." Start saying, "I'm the kind of person who finishes what they start." When your actions become part of your identity, motivation is no longer optional. It's who you are. In a world full of noise, the rarest superpower is focus. The strongest currency is attention. Protect yours. Because the moment you master your focus, you master your future. This isn't about hacks. It's about building a mind that can't be broken by distraction. You see, the problem isn't that you're lazy. The problem is that the world has trained you to expect motivation to feel good, to wait until you're ready, to move only when it's easy. But high achievers, they know something different. They know that motivation is not a feeling, it's a decision. It's the voice inside you that whispers, "I will," when everything else screams, "I can't." When SpaceX rockets exploded, people laughed. When Tesla nearly went bankrupt, investors fled. Musk slept on the factory floor, not for show, but because the mission mattered more than comfort. He once said, "If something is important enough, you do it even if the odds are not in your favor." That's sustainable motivation. Not a flash of excitement, but a fire that refuses to die, even in failure. And long before the world spoke of success, there lived a man whose life embodied patience, purpose, and peace. A man who taught the world what it means to persevere through every story. Motivation dies when purpose disappears. When your why becomes blurry, distraction takes the driver's seat. Every ping, every scroll, every comfort becomes a quiet thief of destiny. You don't need more inspiration. You need to remember your mission, Roman. When you understand that motivation is a muscle, not a mood, everything changes. You stop waiting for perfect conditions. You stop chasing hype. You start showing up, even when you don't feel like it. That's how legends are built. Not by luck, not by talent, but by showing up when the world sleeps, by choosing purpose over pleasure. And if you can master that, if you can move without waiting to feel motivated, you become unstoppable. Because when the feeling fades, the mission must remain. Every generation has its examples. People who refused to quit when the world told them they were done. They didn't wait for permission. They didn't wait for perfect timing. They simply decided that their purpose was greater than their pain. Over 1,400 years ago, a man walked the sands of Arabia, not with wealth, not with armies, but with conviction. His name was Muhammad. Peace and blessings be upon him. He faced rejection, isolation, and endless hardship, yet through every storm, he never lost focus. When others mocked him, he answered with mercy. When they broke him, he rose with patience. When they doubted him, he worked harder, not for fame, not for comfort, but for purpose. His motivation didn't come from luxury. It came from belief. Belief in something greater than himself. Belief that every struggle was shaping him, not breaking him. There were nights when he stood alone in prayer, tears falling quietly in the darkness, yet his heart remained unshaken. Because he understood, real strength is not the absence of pain, it's the decision to rise above it. When the world turned against him, he turned inward, toward patience, toward discipline, toward faith. And through that, he transformed his pain into purpose, his struggle into strength, his mission into legacy. His life teaches one of the greatest lessons in history. Motivation that depends on comfort will die, but motivation that comes from meaning lasts forever. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, showed the world that sustainable motivation is not found in the noise of the world, but in the silence of purpose. He lived not for recognition, but for impact, not for power, but for peace. And his example still whispers to every soul lost in distraction. Stay patient, stay focused. Your purpose will outlast your pain. Every distraction you face is designed to pull you away from purpose. The average person touches their phone over 2,000 times a day, and every swipe drains the fuel of your focus. But motivation lives where focus begins. You can't control the world's noise, but you can control your environment, your habits, and your identity. Here's the truth. Your brain doesn't run on motivation, it runs on systems. If you wait until you feel ready, you'll never move. But if you build systems that make progress automatic, you win even on your worst days. Want to master your focus? Design your world for it. Remove temptation, control dopamine, reward consistency, not intensity. Every small win sends a signal to your brain. I'm becoming the kind of person who follows through. Motivation isn't about fireworks, it's about friction. Reduce the friction between you and your goals, and progress becomes inevitable. The secret isn't intensity, it's identity. Stop saying, I want to be motivated. Start saying, I am the kind of person who shows up. Because once your habits match your identity, you don't chase motivation anymore. You become it. This is how you outlast distraction. Not by fighting the world, but by mastering yourself. Every moment you spend distracted is a moment you trade from your destiny. But every second you take back, every breath of focus, every act of patience is a step toward becoming who you were meant to be. Life will not wait for you to be ready. Pain will not pause because you're tired. And greatness does not belong to those who move fast, but to those who refuse to stop. From the prophet who endured storms with patience to the innovators who built futures from failure, the message has never changed. Real motivation is not about hype, it's about heart. It's about standing tall when your body screams to rest. It's about believing in purpose when results are invisible. It's about the silent daily decision to keep showing up because your dream still matters. You don't need permission. You don't need perfect timing. You just need one thing: the courage to start and the patience to continue. Let the world chase distractions. You chase discipline. Let others wait for inspiration. You create it, because motivation isn't something you find, it's something you build. One act of focus, one moment of courage, one day at a time. And when the world asks how you kept going, you'll simply smile and say, I stopped waiting for motivation. I built it. This is Daily Mind Sparks. Ignite your focus, fuel your purpose, and never stop moving forward.